It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it to your friends. Come on.
Come on, come on.
It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's so you're still troubled in your home. Got you tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing, because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday, 8 and 9, and it's on. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show when people at night. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show on WBISLP Awesome Radio 106.9. Amongst the other places, GPAT TV 23, all across America, all across the nation, all across the world. It's on and popping. Absolutely on and popping. And we are certainly glad. I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag comments, questions, updates, whatever it is. Y'all just keep overloading, and it's all right, because I'm gonna continue to address as many as possible each night I'm on the air to reach you all, because y'all are the valued listeners. Some people say, well, what does that mean? That means I appreciate the fact that y'all come in here every single Wednesday and hang out with me, just chilling with me, and we talk about just life issues, things that are on you all's mind. All right. So look here. For those people who are out on the West Coast, listen, I understand. Some of them been complaining because they say, hey, look here. We can't catch the show because we still be at work at 8 o'clock. I can't push the time back no further. All right. So that's how we got to get down with each other. But I promise you, sneak at work, put it on your phone. You already be up there talking to whoever you want to talk to. So just put your headphones in and put on the Sinclair Show if you out there on the West Coast. All right. But look here. First of all, we got a lot of stuff going on tonight, a lot of hot topics. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do my due diligence with all of the people who be jumping on. Let me tell y'all who was first out the gate tonight. Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard. Yeah, she from the Rocket City, Alabama. Yeah, that right there. Y'all better understand that's how she get down. Who else popped up? James Key was the second one out the gate. Uh-oh, y'all. They go my mama. Hey, mama. Mama, you behaving yourself. Y'all, I had to keep an eye on my mama. My mama be doing exactly whatever she want to do. Not Shay Sinclair. That's how we get down. That's how we get down. Taya Matthews, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you up here. Sir Marcus Key. That's royalty right there. Uh-oh. Big Rod is on early tonight. All right. Marcus says 5 here, though. How they still at work? Hey, man. Folks, everybody ain't got them good, easy jobs. Some people got to work them other shifts. I'm just telling you. That's how I get down. There's Nikki Carter, people. How about she in the house? You about to get put out the house. Keep playing. See, you already, matter of fact, y'all know what? Me and Nikki Carter made a pact with each other that as long as she act right, then she won't get excommunicated from the show. So we just going to see how long can Nikki Carter go without saying something that is we would expect from the Me Too movement. How about that? Uh-oh, people. Guess who I see, folks? I see Mimi Mims, y'all. The Mimster is in talking about what's happening, my people. Mimi Mims is rocking it. Hold on. Oh, Nikki Carter talking about don't start nothing, won't be nothing. I give it the first topic. Look, people, Sir Marcus Key said, hey, it ain't a chance that Nikki Carter gonna make it past the first comment without diving into the Me Too movement. Matter of fact, you know what? Hey, why don't y'all get up off Mims? Hey, Mimster. Nikki Carter said, who food did you steal this week? Wow. Look here, you gonna stop talking about my homeboy like that. Now, I can talk about him like that, but I ain't just gonna let everybody out the well. Then again, he did admit to being a a food eradicator, if you will. Anyway, so since we already got a bet on how fast it take, Big Rod said, let Nikki live tonight. Hey, I don't know. We gonna find out how this go. Marcus said he shouldn't have stolen that food. Dag, Memster, you can't get, look, Memster apologized to everybody. He said he doubled down and bought the people what they were supposed to have. Why can't, if y'all willing to give Nikki Carter a break, I know y'all should give the Memster a pass. He replenished, doubled up on the replenishment. Why is everybody speaking to Nikki Carter? Okay, let me see what she talking about. Some thank you, Big Rod. All right, whatever. Big Rod, it seemed like you might be turning against the men's club. Are we gonna have to get rid of you too? Man, what is y'all doing? Big Rod say it ain't so. Yeah, Big Rod that came on my home. He said, never mind, she messy already. Good job, good job. All right, look at people. Wow, you can't be calling Mims no terrorist. See, that's how you get put up off the show. Anyway, people, let's go and jump in these topics. I ain't even gonna give y'all the choice tonight. I'm gonna start this off with something controversial. Let's pop it off in Boston, people. All right, check this out, folks. Boston Celtics head coach. Hold on, we got somebody else that jumped in the room. Michelle Branch, what's going on, girl? Glad to see ya. Facebook will flag you for that word. Absolutely. This ain't the Nikki show. You better believe it. Where is Jay Dizzle? I don't know. He ain't out here defending you tonight, is he? You on an island by yourself. Anyway, Boston Celtic head coach Ime Udoka reportedly had an inappropriate relationship with a female staffer, and now he's been suspended for an entire year. The alleged affair was with a female staff member reported to be Kathleen Lynch, who is allegedly the wife of a senior VP. Woo! You the co-host. Girl, please. I should charge you just for letting you on here. Initially, it was called an improper, intimate, and consensual relationship with a female member of the team staff. He continued, it's been deemed a violation of the franchise code of conduct. ESPN Adrian Wojnarowski reported Wednesday night that the 45-year-old, who was found to have had a consensual, intimate relationship with a woman who has a role on the Celtic staff, a violation of Boston franchise guidelines. It is alleged that the female was, of course, the wife of a senior vice president for the Celtics, and that he had become aware of the affair due to the Ring doorbell camera at their house. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Marcus Key, what's going on? I see somebody said Stephanie Tillman done jumped on. How you doing? Mimi Mims says, so what's wrong with that? Oh my goodness. Mimi Mims. Okay, we're gonna hold on. Let's finish reading. Said multiple sources confirm Celtics female staffers affair with the Celtics coach was uncovered by her husband when he overheard a private conversation on a home doorbell camera. Went further on saying that the staffer, who's married, answered the phone call while outside of her home. She took the call from him outside her home, and the doorbell camera picked up the conversation, exposing the affair. All right. Mimi Mims want to know what is wrong with that. Mims said they grown folk. Instead of talking about, hey, girl, whatever. Y'all having an old sidebar conversation. Really, he didn't say that. Hey, Mimi Mims said it. Y'all can see it for yourself. All right. Marcus said, get Mims out of here. April said, hey, folks. Glad to see you tonight. Mims said, hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. They just got busted. Marcus said, makes sense to him. James said they did the man wrong. They was both married, though. Well, no, Marcus, I don't believe he's married to Nia Long. For those of you who don't know, Ime Udoka was alleged, I believe he is the fiance of Nia Long. I don't think they was married. Hey, Nia Long, just a regular person. Why was her husband being so nosy? Whoa, Nikki Carter. Nikki Carter's on the dude side tonight. All right. Hold on. Y'all hitting it real fast. Let's go back to the basics of this. First of all, and Mims, we're gonna answer your question first, but let's go through some of the things. First of all, let me tell y'all something. Wait. Mims talking about wait. Nia Long. Yeah, that's who he was. He got a child by. They've been in a relationship, whatever. Detective Pamela Black, glad to see you. James said, why was they in front of the ring? There we go. Let's go back to the basics. Mims said, oh, he just did me a favor. Mims, it ain't a chance on this planet that you gonna get with Nia Long. And let me be honest with you. Just because somebody fine don't mean they good to be in a relationship with. So don't start acting like Nia Long is just great. She might be an absolute fool at the house. Marcus Key said, you at my house wilding and I'm nosy? Right. Nikki Carter said he did Nia wrong, should be fired. Okay, hold on, people. Everybody take a time out for a second. Let's break this down. First of all, let this be a lesson to many of you fools out here who be at your homes in front of your camera systems talking about all kind of foolishness, deep diving into your erotic behavior, getting caught up on Ring doorbell cameras, because that's how they got caught. Playing around. Do you understand that Ring cameras are there to pick up the activity? Ring did its job. Matter of fact, her husband ought to do a commercial for Ring. Ring is the new thing, if you will. Okay? So let's begin by that. If you got cameras inside, outside, wherever you got cameras at, and you doing dirt, don't get mad at the camera system that you knew was there when you got caught. I bet you if I could roll down the laundry list of people in America, just in America alone, who done got themselves hemmed up, playing around with the Ring camera system or some camera system, it'll be in the millions. You do realize everything you do in front of your house, around your house, where them cameras is at, they picking up visuals and audio. And y'all out here acting a fool, mad because he got caught. Let me see. Nikki Carter says she on her side. Whatever. Big Rod said he went to her house because he was sprung on a married lady. No, Big Rod, he didn't go to the house. The lady, he called the chick he was messing around with, he called her cell phone. Rather than take the call while she was in the house, she walked outside and was standing in front of the door, outside on the stoop, if you will, talking to him in front of the Ring camera. So when hubby, like most men do, when hubby started checking the video, to his surprise, he got the cougar in the front just up there absolutely talking about what she was going to do with the brother. And I'm not going to say it's look, she was white now. So, I mean, you know, her man was going to give her a second chance. I'm just saying. Marcus says she ought to be fired too. I agree. Nah, that commercial would have been wild. You better believe it. Mim said, I like that. Ring is the new thing. You better believe it is. Matter of fact, I'm going to shoot me a Ring commercial and send it off to him. Yeah, we already established that, Ty. Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard said, America's dumbest criminals in the making. Absolutely. You going to go and talk to your boo in front of the cameras. Hey, it's not an uncommon thing. People do it all the time. Marcus said he probably got cameras in the house too. If he didn't have cameras in the house before, I know he put them in there after he caught her up there with the brother. Jacqueline Marie Davis, glad to see you. She said it's just pure stupid, just pure stupid. Big Rod, it's all right. Mim says she the one who did wrong. Absolutely, she did wrong. She did wrong because she ain't had, I mean, think about it, people. And let me say this. The problem with camera systems is people find themselves getting comfortable with the cameras. So they forget that they are there and they carry on with their regular lives. She wasn't thinking about the Ring doorbell. She was thinking about Emmy Udoka's being able to ring the doorbell. I'm just telling you what it was. Ma'am says, so does she still have a job? Absolutely. They didn't fire her. Pamela German, glad to see you. Now let's talk about this. Many of you have asked or made comments about why wasn't she fired. Let me tell you why. All right? A couple of reasons. Reason number one, she white. Reason number two, her husband was the VP. He had already been done wrong enough. Taking some bread out his house was not going to make anything any better. Nikki Carter said, did he stalk her or what? Ty said, I want to know why she wasn't fired too. Okay, let me keep telling you. Apparently, the third reason is there came a point, James said she wasn't even disciplined. All right, but let's talk about some of these pieces. There came a point when apparently the husband says to her and to him, hey, look here, break it off, no problem, and I ain't gotta let this get out here to the public. Mimi Mim said Karen's status was real. Here's the issue. At some point, she tells Udoka, I don't want to see you no more. He can't let go. So now you got the white girl gets caught by her husband having sizzling, saucy conversation with the head coach. He confronts her with it, tells her, you better fix this. She goes to break it off, and Emmy is out here sprung. So he don't want to let it go. So he commences to text her and call her and try to corner her at work and all types of things. And so then she's sending them texts saying, hey, look, I don't want to deal with you no more. So she's got it in writing where it went from being consensual to harassment at the workplace. That's the reason why they couldn't fire her, because she would have had a case of harassment. You say you don't think she white. You better look again. She Caucasian. Ty said, wasn't none of her that good. Mim said, wifey was getting freaky with the coach. Absolutely. He's sending everybody to practice, and he around there stalking the lady. So to a certain degree, I understand why he was terminated. First of all, let me say this. I'm not defending what they did to Emmy Udoka, but the truth of the matter is, on no job can you sleep with the vice president's wife and still have your job when he find out. It just doesn't happen like that anywhere in America. Let's call this what it is, fellas. Before we can talk about the problem with them not taking any action. I mean, Angela Bassett might be that good. I need to find out. Sure. Hey, Angela Bassett is very nice. All right. Yeah, James, hold on. You're absolutely right, James. We're going to get to that. But I need all of my fellas to understand. It is 100% a problem when you know what the organizational policy is, and two, when you are a person of influence, and three, the moment that she said, I don't want to deal with you no more, and you kept messing with her, you kept chasing her, you kept harassing her. The moment that this chick starts sending you the text messages saying, leave me alone, I don't want to mess with you no more. What's going on, Legal Beagle? Cassandra, glad to see you. That's for those of you who don't want to understand it. The organization was not going to run the risk of this woman filing a harassment suit, because it doesn't matter what they did at first. The moment that that woman said, I ain't with this no more, and you kept pursuing her, you kept calling her, you kept popping up on her in the parking lot, the players knew, her husband knows, you ain't stopping. She's trying to save what she got in her household because she done been dumb enough to get caught on the Ring doorbell system, but you can't let it go. That's the reason why the organization couldn't do anything to her, because she had enough evidence after the fact that she had said nobody was getting fired at first. My understanding, and I've got a couple of sources that are in the NBA, and my understanding is no one was getting fired at first. They were simply going to give him a hefty fine and let this be under the table, if you will. Because even the husband, who is the senior VP, had agreed he did not want it to be public. James, you're wrong. James, you've been out of the workplace too long. It can be harassment. I don't care who started after who. In the workplace, you all can have a consensual relationship, and the moment that any person say your actions are now unwanted and you continue to pursue them, it is harassment the moment you receive notification. So when she sent him an email and said this is unwanted actions, and he continued anytime after that, it is considered harassment in that case and every other case in workplace America. Ty said, James, what are you talking about? As soon as she says, no, I don't want to see you, it's harassment. Absolutely correct. James, let me tell you something. I'm an executive in America right now. I can tell you beyond any doubt, the moment that any individual in the workplace recognizes that there is an unwanted action, the moment that they notify you that that action is unwarranted and you continued after that, it is harassment. And that's what happened in this case. So the organization was caught in a conundrum, because if you fire her, she can file a suit because you allowed her to get harassed. And at some point, it's my understanding, they had gone to him and talked to him. So while we would all like to think in a magical world that she should have got her just due based on the relationship being a violation, the problem with this whole scenario is when the Boston Celtics came out and announced it initially, they said it was a consensual relationship and they never spoke about the harassment piece. Boston handled this totally wrong. All right. But I do stand by the decision that he should have been, truthfully, he should have just been fired. I believe they did not fire him because they wanted to keep their options open, but it's pretty hard to bring somebody back after you done put all their business out in the street. Because either the VP, the senior VP gonna have to go, or he gonna have to go. You can't bring this man back and he been laying up with this man's wife all this time. It just ain't gonna happen like that. But that's neither here nor there. So to answer your question, yes, in my opinion, he deserved to get fired. She did too, but I do understand the company's position that I'm sure their lawyers told them this situation is too precarious, because after they were, you say they didn't fire him because there's more to it. No, I don't know the answer to that. My understanding is they were trying to check the temperament of this situation. And because of how well he did last year in getting them to the finals, they wanted to see how would this look 12 months down the road, because they gave him an opportunity to resign and he turned that down. In my opinion, he should have resigned from coaching in Boston and took a job someplace else, because the next team ain't gonna care that you were sleeping with that dude's wife and that team. All right. So, James, you could be right, but my understanding is they were advised by their lawyers. Hold on. Nigga said those team meetings probably got awkward. I'm sure they did. But from what I am told, and what I am told is consistent with is in most corporate environments, is that the moment that she had in writing that she was asking him to no longer contact her, some of the things he was saying clearly were violations and were harassing in nature. And James, it all goes back to the point that at any point a man or a woman says no, that no means no. And when you continue after that, it is an unwanted and harassing environment. All right. So I just want you to understand that. James said he didn't resign because the husband knew. No, I don't think that was it. First of all, he ain't that bold. If anything, you should have been wanting to get up out of there. But I think he didn't want to resign because sometimes, and let me say this, sometimes when people do things, they make themselves into a victim. Okay? Udoka is not a victim in any form or fashion in this. Brother Andre Williams, what's going on? Glad that you done joined us. James said the rabbit hole is deep. It may be deep. I don't know. But I'm saying to you, those of you who have this affinity for Udoka and what he's done in Boston or what he's done as a black coach and all that, I just want you guys to understand. Jay Dizzle, what's going on? He in the house. That Ime Udoka is not a victim. I don't care who you are. If you sleep with the VP's wife, if you sleep with the VP's husband, you are likely to lose your job. You can't go around sleeping with executives, wives, and husbands and think that if they find out, you're going to keep your job. That's the bare minimum. Now, two things can be true. One being, in some people's eyes, both of them should have had some punishment. I don't disagree with that. But again, I understand the principle behind it because lawyers weigh options about what they believe is the worst case scenario. They do not always, it's not always in your favor. Somebody can accuse you of something and be absolutely telling a lie. And you want me to tell you what the insurance company will say? The insurance company will say to you, we do not care about whether you're guilty or innocent. We have to balance this for what we can prove or not prove. And if we go to court, what are we likely to lose? If we can do a settlement, they'll do a settlement. They don't care about your guilt or innocence. They're trying to minimize the financial impact to the organization, if that makes sense. Ty said, you best be ready for some consequences if you out here laying up. And that's just the way that it operates. It's not fair, but you got to understand when you get out here and you diving in the deep end of the pool. Marcus said, worst case scenario is the white woman could have dismantled that whole organization based on a harassment charge. She could have, especially, note to this, especially once she had it in writing that she was asking, Dr. Beverly Key, glad to see you. Once she had it in writing that she was asking and demanding that he leave her alone. Because at that point, everything changed about it. All right? Look, people, we didn't spend too much time on him. Don't worry about it. He got the whole year to think about it because he's out of there. My opinion, he's probably not coming back. And I think that's the best thing for him. If I were him, I would ask to be released so that at least by mid-season, he could go get a job with another team. All right? Let's go to the next hot topic. Oh, we're going to keep the flames burning on this one. Let me find it. All right, here we go. Says Sinclair, I am a 27-year-old transgender woman. I've watched several of your videos. I never really speak out because people have a way of changing my thoughts into conversations about my genetic makeup. She said, I would like to get I would like to begin by stating that I can appreciate your comments about Dwayne Wade and his daughter's relationship and his support for her. I was not offended by your spiritual position, and I agree that every man or woman has to answer to God for whatever sins we commit. Why, thank you. She says, I'm writing today to get your thoughts on Dr. Umar Johnson acting like he is so upset that he found himself on a panel and flirting with a transgender woman. And then when social media addressed it with him, he states he did not know she was a transgender. Hope Giselle has been a transgender public figure on mainstream media for a few years, so I do not subscribe that he did not know that. I would expect that someone who thinks as highly of himself as Umar Johnson does would have certainly done his due diligence on whom would be on the panel. Sinclair, what is your view on his crying foul after he was flirting and calling Hope a black queen? Signed, Tamar. Wow. Well, first of all, Tamar, I appreciate your understanding of my position and for the issue that you spoke of last week. I'm certainly glad that you watched the show. And as I said then, and I stand by it now, for those of us who rock with God, our job is never to browbeat and bash someone for choices that you make. My responsibility is only to make you aware of the possibility of a relationship with Christ, and then you go handle it with Christ yourself. So I appreciate you understanding that. My spiritual beliefs might not be the same as your personal beliefs, but I am never going to find myself calling you out of your name or even being supportive of somebody who is out here acting an absolute fool against somebody because they made a different choice that is their spiritual consequence to match. All right. Now let's get back to talking about Umar. Mimi Mim said, OMG, LOL. He knew. Was he drinking on the panel? Get out of here. All right. So, yeah, James. Yeah, right. So let me say this. First of all, in full disclosure to you all, I do personally know Umar Johnson. Okay. So let me start by that. And because I know him personally, it does not change my opinion on what I'm about to say to you all tonight. So I want you guys to know I am certainly objective. I support some of the principles that he has. There's an awful lot of stuff that he say that I just be like, bruh, you should have left that one in the bag. But tonight we're only going to, and I had to put that out because I don't want somebody saying I was either hard on him or I was either light on him because, and then somebody saying, well, don't you know him? The answer is yes, I do know him. But let's talk about this. First of all, I have been on numerous panels, numerous speaking engagements. I have been in certainly more than 50 different panels, both hosting them, being a part of the panel, otherwise. The first thing that happens as a professional speaker, if you will, is that you begin by identifying who's going to be on the panel with you. That's just basic 101. So for me to believe that he didn't know the names of the people, I can't rock with that. And Umar Johnson certainly values himself as every man and woman should. Nikki Carter said, when is the school breaking ground? Hey, I don't have nothing to do with that. I didn't donate any money to that school situation. But let's be clear about this. When I am going to be on a panel with people, I get their names, I do my due diligence, or I have them to send me a packet about everybody who's up there. Because I saw this question in advance, I typed in Hope Giselle into Google, it took 30 seconds to pop up a host of different things about Hope Giselle. Each one of them identified her as a transgender person. So either he knew and forgot, or he didn't do his homework, or he didn't read the packet that they normally send out. Either way, you're on the panel. You're obviously appearing to like the dialogue that Hope was putting forth. And what you found yourself doing was you found yourself complimenting a person. Marcus said, if they sent the packet, though. Marcus, did you hear what I said? It didn't matter to me if they sent the packet or not. I asked who I'm going to be on the panel with. That's the first thing you want to know. You want to know because you don't want somebody to put you on a panel with a bunch of people that are totally against what you believe in. And if he didn't do his due diligence and ask that question, that's on him. Mimi Mims said he couldn't keep his eyes off the package is the problem. Now, see, I don't know nothing about that, Mimi Mims. I can't comment on that. But what I can say is, from a practical perspective, I say he's just in his feelings because he got caught up. Potentially. I can't say, honestly, why he is feeling the way that he is. Mims, Marcus said, get Mims up out of here. The thing about it is, maybe he should have been watching his mouth in the first place. If you sitting up on a panel where you know they got the video and everything, and you up here flirting, you're supposed to be talking about points that are constructive about something. So you up here, if you called Hope Giselle a black queen, you mad because women felt a certain kind of way that you called a transgender person who was identifying as a woman a black queen. Now you think you got folks mad at you. Hey, Mimi Mims, Ty says she agree with you, Memster. Listen, people, if he'd have been focused on the job instead of focusing on them compliments, none of that would have popped off. There lies the problem. Umar is not a victim in this. You was up there flirting. You didn't do your homework. You thought that the transgender person was both intellectually stimulating to you, and you thought the person was physically attractive. That's what the problem is. Now you feel like you've been duped. Hope Giselle was under, and I've heard people say this, and let me shut all you guys down out there. Hope Giselle was not under any obligation to announce on that panel that she was a transgender person, because anybody who looked up Hope Giselle would have known, because Hope Giselle is not out here pretending not to be. Nikki Carter said, why couldn't he give her a compliment? I don't know. I'm assuming that he got some backlash. Mimi Mims said Umar wanted some private tutoring. I don't know nothing about all that. I cannot go with you, brother. Facts not in evidence. Facts not in evidence. Good evening, Essie Shepherd. Glad to see you. So I want y'all to understand something, because I have heard people say, why didn't this person? Listen, you all know what my personal feelings are all the way around. But here is the issue for me. If a transgender person is not trying to talk to you, if they're not trying to get to know you personally, they don't have to walk around announcing that they are transgender, just like a gay person doesn't have to walk around announcing that they're gay, just like a heterosexual or straight person doesn't have to walk around all day announcing that. It ain't none of your business if you're not trying to get with somebody. Mimi Mims said you can't even make this up. You're right. James said, I think people made too big of a deal about it. No, I think Umar Johnson made too big of a deal about it because he thought it was necessary to go out there and say he got duped by some means. But he didn't get duped. You went on a panel with professionals that were talking about the subject matter important to the Negro community, and you the one started popping off compliments. The transgender person didn't ask you for a compliment. Hope didn't ask you to say that she was a black queen. You gave it voluntarily. And where do we as human beings get off trying to force people to talk about something that ain't none of your business? You don't have a right to know anything about somebody privately unless you're getting into a private relationship with them. And some of you may not agree. I don't care. Yvonne Rouse, what's going on? Glad to see you. Ty said he need to stop because she was not trying to get with him. Absolutely. And there lies the point. And I need you guys to understand that. Nikki Carter said Umar is crazy. I don't know that for certain. I know he has some rigid views about some things. Like I said, some of the stuff, and let's be fair, some of the stuff that Umar Johnson talks about is definitely purposeful for Black America. He does, by the other hand, have some very, very controversial things that he engages in and that he speaks about. And so two things can be true. Some of the stuff he can say can be good for you, and the rest of it you can say, I don't choose to deal with him or accept what he says because he says some things that are just too left field. James said, wasn't it just a compliment? Yes, James, it was just a compliment, and it would have remained just a compliment, except for when the public started making some comments, Umar Johnson felt the need to go shoot a video and dissect what happened and make himself into a victim. But again, nobody has to provide you deep dive information into themselves, until their background, and with anything going on about them. Kiki Matthews, glad to see you. Unless you are in some type of relationship with them. I don't even want to know that many people's business. I'm sure that there are people that I encounter every single day, and some of them may look like a female and may not be. Some of them may look like a male and not be. I don't know, because I don't walk around and second guess people's gender. Why would it be important to me whether or not I'm talking to someone who is a real female or someone who is a transgender person or somebody? Why would any of that matter to me if I'm having a professional conversation? That's the honest truth. And I think that's where you have to look internally and ask yourself, why would we have the right to know? Even though, again, Hope Giselle has never hid the fact publicly that she is a transgender person. Marcus said, a pretend female, a Decepticon, if you will. Marcus, not in this situation. It cannot be true in this situation. You can't say that a person is deceiving you if they are being themselves. They are being their true self. If the information is public knowledge, and because you are on a public platform and you don't do your due diligence and you decide you want to give compliments and you get mad because the public is laughing at you because you used the term Black Queen, Umar Johnson could have said, hey, look, I was addressing the person that was before me that I believed to be a woman and left it at that. Or he could have not said anything at all. Because there is nothing that indicates that he was trying to have any type of relationship with the person once they left the building. But our sense of entitlement as a people, as a nation, as a culture in general is way off balance. I don't have a right to know your personal business. Marcus said, if he said, hey, bruh, they would have dragged him. Probably so. James says, so didn't the public make this surface? I believe, Nikki Carter said, Marcus, she didn't do anything wrong. And unfortunately, I'm in agreement with Nikki. I don't believe that Hope Giselle did anything wrong. Ty said, Hope wasn't after him. Hope didn't owe him anything. I agree with that. Nikki Carter says she is a queen. Well, okay. I'm not. Marcus said he was just making a joke. So the bottom line, so we could go to the next thing, is this. People, we have to be, when we agree that we have differences and that those differences are not impactful for me, if they do not, if whatever you're doing in your life doesn't impact my life directly, then I have no reason to condemn you, because I could do just like Jesus do or did. I could bend down and pick that stone up, and I could say, he who is without sin cast his first one. And I know Umar couldn't have thrown the stone. And most of you couldn't throw one either. As I said last week, just because I have a different spiritual belief about whether it's transgender or the LGBTQ community, we don't have to have the same spiritual belief. My responsibility is to let you know about who I rock with, and then you can make your decision if you want to rock with Jesus as well. But I don't have the right to be spending time trying to harass you, because me harassing you is taking away time I could be helping somebody else. I'm just saying. Marcus said, I'm definitely throwing stones, the hot kind. You know what? I ain't even messing with Marcus. So anyway, I hope that answers the question, Tamar, that Umar was wrong for allowing it to get to him. He was not necessarily wrong for stating, if he would have come on and say, I used the phrase queen because when I was speaking to that person, I had not done my due diligence, and I did not know that the individual was a trans person. I said that not to be disrespectful to the women, to the natural women of the world. I was not aware in that moment. If he'd have just left it at that, it would have been nothing else about it. But when you start protesting too much, then there's a problem. Marcus said, I don't subscribe to anything other than science. Hey, that's your thing. All right, so cool. Let's find out what else we're gonna go to. All right. All right, let's see. Because y'all know y'all be out here with how much time we got? We got a little bit of time. We might be at a deep dive. All right, here we go. Let's take this one. Says, Dear Sinclair, that's me. Said, I've been in a relationship for the past 16 years, and my husband takes a lot of business trips. Most of them are more than a week long. At a minimum, he is 2 weeks out of the month traveling. That is approximately 834 weeks we have been together, and of those 417 weeks, he has been away on business. I don't know where this is going, but she said, I retired 6 months ago, and so I thought it would be refreshing for me to travel on business trips with him, but he does not think it's a good idea. His position is, this is his job, and he needs to be able to work without having to entertain me, and we would simply be driving up the cost with me traveling. I told my girlfriends, and they seem to believe that he is living a double life, that he either has a second family somewhere or that he has a bunch of women that I don't know about. I admit that I let the conversation get the best of me and asked him about the concerns, which drew anger from him. Since then, we've not been on good terms, and he does not want my friends in our home saying that they're not good for me because they are filling my head with evil thoughts and turning me against him. I defended them, saying they were reacting to my comments, but he truly appeared to be offended. Sinclair, I've never caught him doing anything, but I did feel a way about him not wanting me on the trips with him. But now he and I are at odds. My girlfriends are restricted from the house. I guess I'm wondering if it was worth it. Also, Sinclair, how do I get my marriage on the right track again? Sign, Lavonda. Well. All right, so let's see what everybody's saying. Nikki Carter says she's shaking her head. Marcus said he cheating, duh. Nikki Carter said, child, I already see it. Marcus said, or. All right. James said, James Bond. Ty says, suspect, entertaining her. She's a grown woman. She does not need to be entertained. Marcus said, it could actually be what he said. Nikki Carter got the laughing emojis. Lavonda. Marcus said, that's old school ghetto. All right, so people, first of all, Lavonda, let me break this down to you all. First and foremost, Lavonda, I am somewhat wondering about the type of person that you are. Hold on. Mimi Mim said, I'm not a judge of the court system, but he sure sounds guilty of something. Cassandra said, look at the bank accounts, follow the money, then she'll know. See, that's a legal beagle for you. James said, keep your friends out your relationship. All right, look, all of y'all, let's break it down like this. First of all, Lavonda, I'm concerned about your thought process, your mental makeup, if you will, because you said you've been married for 16 years and you break it down to 834 weeks and then say 417 of them y'all been apart. You're not acting like you don't have some additional hangups, all right? Andre said exactly what James said, keep your friends out your relationship. That right there. Ty said, yep, Thomas Mims, she agreeing with you. So you already have an unusual way of talking about a relationship when you're breaking it down into weeks. You've been married for 16 years and you're calculating 834 weeks. That seems a little, something is amiss in the way that you are viewing things, all right? Nikki said her friends might see something she doesn't. Nikki, you about to get kicked out the show. James said that's the problem. Absolutely. I start with the basics from the beginning. I don't know, and I've been counseling for 15 years or more. I don't know people who have been married for any length of time who talks about their marriage in terms of weeks still. 16 years is 16 years. When you start talking about 834 weeks, I have some concerns about the way you process things. Marcus said if her friends are already bitter, and they view is skewed. Absolutely. Nikki Carter said, James Key, it's a problem for you all. All right, so now let's go deeper. So you retired, Lavonda. And first of all, Lavonda, I thank you for watching the show. But Lavonda, you retired and you immediately decide in your retirement, you want to change the process of how his work environment is. That's you should not have decided in your mind that you get to roll like that. Cassandra said she had her own suspicion, so her friends aren't the problem. She already thought something is going on. So how did her friends even know anything if she didn't tell them? Okay, Cassandra, maybe you missed this part. No, what happened was she asked her husband, since she's retired, because she started going on trips with him, and he said he wasn't a fan of that concept because, one, he would have to pay for her if it's a flight. He's got to pay for her to fly there, and he said, hey, we just going to drive up costs. Plus, when I'm out on business, I got to be able to handle my business. I don't have time to be entertaining you. And so she went back and told her friends, and her friends said, oh, he got to have another relationship somewhere, another wife somewhere, or he got a bunch of women. All right. See, now we got that grown woman conversation. Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard said, she sounds like she is controlling. Absolutely. Cassandra said, why did she ask after all these years? Well, in fairness to her, Cassandra, allegedly she asked because she's now retired and has time to do it. Let me say this, people. Your work is your work. Your job is your job. When you was working and not retired, your husband wasn't trying to come with you to work. Why we operating on the go to work with you day? Nikki Carter said he didn't have to entertain her. Okay, listen, people. Not knowing what the salaries and wages are, if every time he catches a flight, he got to buy her a flight because she wants to go travel along with him, that doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know what her job is. Ty said maybe she didn't have time before. Maybe she had thought about it. She would have been nice, a little more time with him, whatever. James Key says she's bored. That could be it. But again, if you're bored, James said, then what is she going for? That's the thing. Cassandra said, I agree with Nikki. There is more to the story on her side. Could be. I do not doubt that. Mim said, you have to entertain your spouse. But see, again, people, there is two pieces in this that I don't want y'all. Hold on for a second. Nikki Carter said, you mean she couldn't go on one trip? That wasn't what she said. She said she presented the idea about going on trips with him. She didn't say one trip. I don't know how she presented it. And as I often say, these are facts, not in evidence, so I don't want to say one way or another. But I do want you guys to consider this, that it was never a problem before. You didn't think your man was out there doing anything before. By her own admission, she says, Sinclair, I have never caught him doing anything, but I felt some kind of way when my girlfriends made the comments they made. She wasn't thinking before she retired. Ty said, all right, Mims, I've been rocking with you all night. Don't mess it up. Listen to what she said. She never thought her husband was messing around. She didn't have a problem with him going out of town the whole time she was working. It's only when she becomes bored and says, oh, let me switch up how you operate when you go out of town. I want to roll with you. And when he says, hey, I think that's going to be a waste of money, Nikki says, but he could have been receptive to one trip. Nikki Carter, you do not understand, nor do we have any facts about how she presented it. She could have said, hey, from now when you go out of town, since I ain't got nothing to do, I want to be able to roll with you. That's not the same thing as saying, hey, babe, you know, when you go on this particular trip, since I've never been there, I might want to go on that particular trip if that's okay. We don't have any of that. She's never called him. That doesn't mean jack. It does mean something, Nikki. See, and this is why you lose credibility. It does mean something. Right now, this man hasn't been accused of his wife by doing anything. She didn't even think he was doing anything until her slick mouth girlfriend said, because he doesn't want you to travel with him on his jobs when he's out working, he's either got to have another family, got to have another wife, or he's out here. She had no reason to suspect it until they put that in her mind. And there lies the problem. And every one of you women who are acting like you can't understand that, I could see if she wrote a letter and said, Sinclair, I was always suspicious of my man because of how he acted when he went out of town. So when I retired, I asked to go with him and he wouldn't let me. That's one thing. She herself has stated, I never caught him doing anything. She never said she suspected him of doing anything. She implies that I never even had the thought until my girlfriends put it in my head. Cassandra said, if she retired and he's still working, money is not the issue. You don't know, Cassandra, if money is the issue in their household. You don't know what their bills are. We don't have any of that information. You don't know where she retired from. I'm amazed. I'm amazed at the way that women, some women, not all, perceive things. You all have made this man into a cheater with no facts. You all have said you know what money they making and that it ain't no problem with it. No facts. You all, first of all, you have to afford to retire. No, you don't. No, you don't. I know a bunch of people in the school system right now that they reach a certain period, they retire because they can, and then 6 months later, they go back to work. And the reason why they go back to work or retire when they do is because if they don't retire at that particular point and something happens, their families won't be able to get their benefits. So there's a whole host of things. I see it every day. I am fundamental. Nikki Carter said, LaVonda called me. I am fundamentally disturbed at how fast you all turn this man into a cheater because some slick lip friends said he was. She said herself, I have no reason to suspect, never caught him doing anything, didn't even think about it until my girlfriends put that in my mind. James said maybe she didn't have a choice to retire. Exactly, James, that's possible. See, the problem is you all are making assumptions based on what you believe the world to be like in your world. There's a lot of people that retire that didn't want to retire, but the timing of it made it a necessity. Nikki Carter said that means nothing. Nikki Carter, how does it not mean anything if you've never been accused of anything, never been caught doing anything? How does that not mean anything? How could it not? Nikki, are you a cheater? For all of you who are sticking up saying that this man must be a cheater, I ask you tonight, are you all cheaters? Have you all, if you've not been caught doing anything and your significant other doesn't suspect you of doing anything, should somebody else be able to walk up and say, you know, your girl probably cheating, and then all of a sudden he come to you and say, oh, you know what? I believe you cheating. Absolutely what? Absolutely not. What not? You're not a cheater? Well, what if tonight I say you a cheater? If I call you a cheater tonight and then your significant other says, because Sinclair said you must be cheating, then you have to be. Does it make it so? James said it doesn't mean he is. Exactly, James. Because this is the principal problem. Y'all got this Me Too movement. Y'all corral around each other on this ignorance and y'all make up things. There's nothing in this woman's letter that says her man ever did anything but be a good husband and go to work. And because she wanted to go on some trips and he said, hey, look, you going on these trips is us blowing some money that maybe we can't afford to blow right now. Then you all created the answer, oh, they got enough money if she retired and he's still working. That don't mean that. You know how many people live to the limits of what their income is? Paycheck to paycheck, a whole bunch of them. So I feel some kind of way. I really feel some kind of way. James said maybe he just don't want her to go. Ty said, no, Sinclair, definitely not. I wouldn't believe them without evidence. Nikki said he should want his lovely, beautiful wife to go on a trip. First of all, Nikki Carter, those are facts, not in evidence. First of all, you don't know she lovely. Two, you don't know she beautiful. She might be hell on wheels. Maybe he don't want her to go because maybe they got beef at the house. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff we don't have facts and evidence about. Nikki Carter said, why? James said, because he working. Exactly. Why can't he just say, I don't want to take my wife to work with me. I just want to go to work and do my job. I am ashamed. I am fundamentally ashamed at the way that we process things and how easy it is for you women who have taken this position, not all, but you women who have taken this position that you don't have to see anything. There doesn't have to be a speck of evidence that that man has done anything wrong other than say, I think we're blowing money if you start coasting around on trips with me and I got work to do. I don't really want to have to be obligated to entertain. Gwendolyn say, sounds like she nags him to death and she is easily influenced by her so-called girlfriend. Woo-wee. Nikki Carter, you the person of the night. Because you crazy. But I'm telling you, the most educated woman of the night is Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard. She just said a mouthful. She said it sounds like she nags him to death and she's easily influenced by her so-called girlfriends. Nikki Carter said he got a work wife going on a trip. Facts not in evidence. Nikki Carter said it's my money. You don't know that it would have been her money. Ty said he could have had the type of job is super stressful, and maybe when he comes home, that's his time to de-stress with her. Could have been. James said, Nikki, you stretching. Ty said, like I said earlier, too many unknown variables. Absolutely. Cassandra said, I never said he was cheating, but she has a reason to now want to change the game no matter what she says. Yes, but when it comes to my job, you don't get to tell me because you ain't got nothing to do with your time. If you that bored, you should have kept working. You don't get to say, I want to make you going to work uncomfortable for you because of the fact I just want to tag along to your job. That don't make sense. Johnny said, let's consider this. What if when he goes on his work trips, it gives them a chance to recenter, a welcome break? Johnny, let me ask you a question. First of all, I agree with James. Stop it. Nikki Carter agreeing with Johnny. You know, Johnny, if Nikki Carter is agreeing with you, you know your perspective is somewhat. Okay, Johnny, let me say this. And you know I rock with you to the end. But what you just said makes no sense in this particular case, because he said that ain't what he want to do. When you say, let's consider this, what if when he goes on his work trips, it gives them a chance to recenter? Now you're assuming that they're not centered, facts not in evidence, and you're assuming that if you want to go and I don't want you to be there, that's going to help us get closer. What are you talking about, Johnny? You're not going to get closer on a trip if I don't want you there and you are there. I don't think we having no cozy conversations. It would be a difference if both of them had made this and said, yeah, I want to do this. Nikki talking about some exactly. Anybody. Yeah. Nikki talking about stop hating. I'm not hating. People, I think that what y'all have done is y'all have browbeat and made this dude into a negative entity who we don't have any reason to believe that man did anything but go to work. And it is amazing to me that, ladies, if your man was trying to tag along with you to work every day, you'd feel some kind of way. James said, I think Jay means when he gets back. All right, if that's what he meant, I apologize if that's what you meant, Jay, but that ain't how it reads. Cassandra said, I think she has the issue. Johnny said, if you don't try to understand that's your stance, I just ask you to consider. Yeah, but Johnny, what are you asking? You think about what you're asking to consider. You're doing the same thing that many of these women have done on this thing tonight. We're assuming an entire amount of data points that don't exist. Just like them women assumed he was out there messing around because he didn't want to. Maybe the trip itself is a chance for him to decompress from whatever they're going through at the house. Y'all never considered that. This is a woman who described their 16-year marriage as 834 weeks. Y'all mean to tell me y'all don't think she a little quirky? Nikki said, if I was going on work trips, I want my husband coming along. Nikki Carter, please be quiet. No, you wouldn't. Ain't nobody buying what you selling. I want you guys to understand something. Y'all are quick to look at this woman as a victim. This woman described 16 years with him as 834 weeks. She does not think like you and me. So stop acting like, if that's how she describing her marriage, you can best believe the rest of the stuff she talking about and doing around the house is a little iffy. But I'm going to digress. I'm going to let y'all have this tonight because, hey, Mimi Mim says, stop lying, Nikki. Look, I'm going to let y'all have this because I am mentally drained from this conversation of having to defend somebody who is not accused of doing anything by his wife. He was accused of something by her girlfriends. And y'all act like that's gospel. Y'all know how many fake girlfriends is out here. I bet you her girlfriends wouldn't have been saying that if her husband wanted to go on trips with her and she said no. Nikki said maybe she think the marriage is getting boring. You think going him to work gonna make it better? If you ain't trying to spice it up at the house, you ain't gonna spice it up on the trip by me spending money. Get up. You know what?
It's about that time, baby.
Oh, yeah. Tripping. Here we go. Here we go. Maybe if she stopped describing her
Sinclair
marriage.
show is on.
It is on.
Run it with your friends. Come on.
Come on.
So this a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is time. Sinclair is